Yeah, I've probably had maybe two aberrations of that style in the last month. And I'll go back almost to December. Into December, I think our style and our structure has been pretty good. We've missed some players for sure. We've had some challenges with the schedule, but I think it's been really good for us because it's forced us to kind of get back to that basic parts of our game. Not scoring anywhere near what we'd like to, but I don't mind that. It just keeps you in an environment where every shift is important. That you don't have a 3 or 4 goal lead going into the third period, so now you're barking at your guys to just not get through it. So the game has kind of stayed important right to the very end. I'm comfortable with that part of our game.
Last night, Craig said you guys wanted it more. It was obvious. I mean, even just watching. But what do you credit that to? Getting the guys back?
No, I think it has to do with it doesn't matter where you are. We've lost some games in a row here. We've had some tight games go away from us. So there's more of an edge in our room about our play, and you need a win. You want just everybody's in a way better mood after you win a game. So we had an advantage on them. I feel the same way when they came into play us the first time this year. We had lost 6 of 7. They had a bunch of guys out of their lineup, and we were really hard that night. I think we had a bit of an advantage last night on them.
And face-offs, 70%.
Yeah, that one's unusual. I don't have that's a real high number against a really good face-off team, so we were a little quicker in the draw, yeah, for sure.
Brad's been with the team for about a month now. Just
yeah.
What are some of the things that you've noticed about him, picked up about him that maybe you wouldn't see if you weren't with him on like a day-to-day basis?
His hands, because you have to get on the ice and practice with players. Players don't handle the puck very much in a game. They don't have it. They'll make a couple of plays, but when you get a guy out in practice and you get time with the puck and you can see him off, 5 consecutive line rushes, what he can do with the puck, that would be the thing that's jumped out the most. All the other pieces you can see, his intensity and his physicality and his reads of the game. You see that every shift. You can see that, but the hands part you don't get to see very, very much, and you realize he's got that kind of a version of Matthew Tkachuk's hands. They're just different than everybody else's.
And I think you kind of touched on it last night, like playing him on the same line with always Ryan and Lundell. Just how has he kind of rubbed off on some of the younger guys?
Well, I thought last night both Lundell and Ryan had 2 of their best offensive games. They scored, but it was more a driving offensive game. Sometimes it's just a shift in your mindset. You're playing with a guy like that can produce points, that can produce opportunities. You just start thinking about it more on the ice, that there's something to be had here. We can make something happen here. We can drive. And both those guys have been defense-first guys their whole career here anyway. The time that I've spent with them, that's what I've seen from them. So it's good that they kind of open up a different mindset in their game without sacrificing. Brad works hard on both sides of the puck. He's not an in-behind kind of guy. They're not a seam pass kind of guys. They're going to keep the really solid defensive game, but we'd love... Anton scored 18 his first year, and it was a completely different style of game. So we think that we'd like him... we think it's there. Sometimes you just got to get the right combination of guys to bring it out.
Paul and Nico Mikkola, what have you learned the most about him over the 2 years that you've had him?
What a great personality. We thought when he was playing in St. Louis there was something there that could fit our game, and certainly when he went to New York we were very interested in it. Again, I credit Bill Zito and his staff for finding him. And that's the same thing. There are things you see in his game. We thought by watching him play that he could adjust his game to play a different style, and he's very, very good at it. But you don't know the personality, right, what the guy's like, and he would easily be the most vocal of our Finnish players. And his personality is a little bit like the way he plays. He has fun out there. He's chirping guys and barking he's hard on the fence. He's the guy at the one Finn at one end of the bench, yelling at the other Finns at the other end of the bench. Great personality. Love having him.
You talked about Verhaeghe being snake bit. He gets one last night. But Marchand, I mean, what chances he had last night.
And I have
sometimes it doesn't go.
Right, and I have no fear with either of those two guys that it's going to happen for them. The game changes in playoffs. It's a different style of offense, and both of them can get it done. So I'm glad they're getting chances, because then they feel like they're in the right areas of the ice, that their game is right. They just got to get something to go.
And I want wanted to ask you about Jacob Megna.
Mhm.
Veteran guy, played a lot of hockey, maybe not, in the NHL, but he seems to really be relishing this opportunity, and you're giving him a lot of,
Right.
a lot
Well,
of penalty kill stuff, and
I mean, he just fits, right? Like the game that we play is built for him. He can close gaps. He's rangy. He's got a good stick. He's not afraid. He can be physical, and that's really all that job entails. And the thing that maybe the piece that didn't know, he's made a bunch of good inside plays that kind of stay-at-home defenseman sometimes doesn't think about doing, but he's put them on the tape. He's made some clean exits for us. Yeah, I just like having those big men back there that close the gap, get plays killed into the corners. It's the style of game that we play. We're not asking our defensemen to beat a guy and then take the puck, carry it 60 feet or pass it 120 feet. We're asking them to play a game within 10 feet of each other, and he can play that game.
we're a couple weeks away, but defensively, that's top six. Is that how you would start game one as we stand right now? Without Ekblad for the first.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for you on that yet. It's still too early, right? We're going to get through these last 5 games, see where our health's at, because both Smith and Belinskas played very, very well for us.
Second straight game where Puljujarvi leads the team in hits. Are you asking that of him, that physical side, or is that just where his game is naturally taking him in the system?
It's where his game went to. So the backstory on him, he came into the league at 18, right off a knee injury, and played in a very creative system. And it's a good one, right? They've got great players there in Edmonton. I don't know that that's to his strength, and that's okay. There are great players in this league that wouldn't really fit well with us, and then we have some great players on our team that you may not see it as much on other teams. Then he went back home to Finland, kind of got a couple years older, came back, and we were in Winnipeg at the time, and we really didn't have an answer for his size and strength. He could pull his pucks out of the corners. He could play the game that he's playing now there. Had some hip. This is a guy I think that's just been derailed by injuries in his career. And he had some problems with his hip, and he had a block of time that's kind of missing with those injuries. But he's big, fast, he can hit, and he's structurally been very good. And credit to him, but also to the American League coaches, Jordy Kinnear and his staff. He's where he's supposed to be. So you just don't have that, right? Where you can find a guy that big, he can cover ice, he's powerful, he is physical, he does have hands, and he can get to the net. Well, we can find a place for you.
Going back to the question about the third line of Marchand, obviously 2 years ago, Reinhart was on that line last year, Tarasenko now, Rad. Just when it comes to your arsenal, obviously it takes an army, but in the playoffs, how much of an X factor is the third line for you in this team?
Sneaky. To go back 2 years ago, and Carter was here with Barkov, and Anthony Duclair was here. We had a lot of different people that we moved in and around, but the Reinhart-Lundell Luster-Ryan combination, and I understand you got Sam Bennett there, then we bring in Matthew a couple years ago, that you look at our team and you go, there's their third line, and it is. But whenever we had a lead in a playoff game, especially on the road, they would take their one line and run them against Lundell and Luster-Ryan, and so they got this great experience in playoff games against the other team's best. All 3 of those guys are penalty killers, so they have offensive ability, but what they're really good at is the matchup. It's almost like you get on the road, the other team would give you the matchup that you don't mind. So they've got great experience there. We can run them against the other team's best. And having a veteran player, Anton's still 23, so having a veteran player there, and all 3 of those players have been good offensive players. All 3 of them don't cheat for it. So we can play that line against the other teams. I was very happy with the way they played last night because I thought Lundell and Luster-Ryan looked like they were driving for offense more than they have been.
Yeah, Marchand thought he was 28. He said that the other day. Because I thought he was 28.
Yeah,
well, 23.
And he's physically strong, and he's going to grow, but he's mature and mentally mature. That's the advantage. The defensive part of the game is. It's not complex. It's a little bit complicated, but you can teach somebody that if they're willing. The offensive part of the game is usually, but you have the skill set to play it, and then are you willing to not make the play, which is probably key to great offensive players. It's the guys that have a lot of skill, that are making that play no matter what, they put up a ton of points, but they're hard to play with, and they're hard to figure out when to get them on the ice, right? You've got to find the right match. Those guys have some offense, but I don't have to worry about them when they're on the ice. I never make a match mistake when those guys go out. You play your top line, okay, I'm good, right? So pitch your fourth or third line, I might have an advantage there. So they make running the bench a lot easier.
I should probably know this, but apologies for my ignorance. Is Ekblad able to practice with you guys while he's suspended?
No.
No? So you
No.
have to wait until after.
He's quarantined
Okay.
completely, but there'll be a release date soon, we hope.
Right, somebody said, or I read somewhere, a week before he's eligible. to
No,
return,
it's
he can come
it's
back?
no, it's a 10-day block based on a known time. The problem with the playoffs, there isn't a known time, so the league will make a ruling and say, okay, this day is the day that he can come back, and that'll be the first day he's here.
Have you talked to him or anything like that?
Like
You can't-
across from the parking lot, that was about it. Yeah,
Well,
but nobody's seen him.
Thank you, Coach.
Oh, what do you got, Jessica? One more.
Go ahead.
I can wait till tomorrow. No, go. Okay. I was just thinking about this, just going back to your original point about what the game has looked like. A lot of times, even after losses, you've said the game has looked right.
Mhm.
But we've seen opposite endings to regular seasons, right, where there's been a lot of pressure to have to get the results. How unique has this made this stretch, or what feels different about either what you're focusing on down these last couple of games?
I think from the coach's point of view and the team point of view, it's exactly like last year. We actually kind of surprised ourselves by finishing first because the expectation wasn't. Boston lost a bunch of games in a row in the end, and we won on a run, but that wasn't our focus. But we had gone 2-7-1 in the stretch, same kind of thing, a little banged up with the schedule, but I wasn't anywhere near as comfortable with our game. And you're seeing that around the league with teams that are in the playoffs or good teams. They know what's coming. It almost gets into an exhibition game mentality. Don't get hurt, do the basics, get off the ice. So I'm more comfortable with, I'm very, very pleased with the Nosek line. They've been to the point that they've played themselves then in consideration for opening night in the playoffs. They just played so darn well that you can't consider not playing them. So I'm far more comfortable with our gap and the things that we want to be good at and the adherence to it right now than I was last year at this exact time.
I have like 5 more. Any
It's about
injury stuff?
83 degrees outside, not a cloud in the sky, and a slight breeze coming off the water. I'm thinking about you guys. I'm here all day. You guys get out there. Injuries, nothing's changed on that.
Anybody that's coming in or out tomorrow?
I don't have the answer yet because we're going to go through it today and then see how guys come in tomorrow. And there actually might be players that are truly we fire out the word maintenance day. That's usually a guy's got an injury that you just don't want to put him on the ice to make it worse. We may have some players that had an injury that feel really good, and we'll just try to maintain that and not play them. But we also have to factor in the number of games. We've got another set of back-to-backs. It's 7 and 11. I don't want a bunch of the top-end guys playing 7 and 11 ever, but not right now for sure.
Okay. So we'll
Okay,
talk tomorrow.
tomorrow I'll have a better handle for you.